We'll do another welcome. Thank you.
My apologies, mate.
Welcome councillors, staff, visitors and the media. We have members of the gallery. Member of the public gallery should note that council records, publishes council meetings via YouTube to enhance the accessibility of council meetings to the broader Wellington community. These recordings are also archived and may be published on council's website for viewing by the public or used for publicity or information purposes. At the appropriate time during the meeting, members of the gallery may address the council, at which time their image, comments or submissions will be recorded. Members of the public who are not in attendance at the council meeting but who wish to communicate with council via the webcasting chat room should lodge their questions or comments early in the meeting to ensure that their submissions can be dealt with at the end of the meeting. Please could gallery visitors and councillors ensure that mobile phones and other electronic devices are turned off or in silent mode for the duration of the meeting. Please stand for the acknowledgement and prayer. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Gunai people, and pay respects to their elders past and present. Almighty God, we ask your blessing upon the Wellington Shire Council, its councillors, officers, staff and their families. We pray for your guidance in our decisions so that the true good of the Wellington Shire Council may result to the benefit of all residents and community groups. Right. Item A2, apologies.
Councillor Ma, Mayor.
So noted, thank you. Item A3, declarations of conflict of interest. I don't believe we have any. Thank you. Item A4, confirmation of minutes of previous council meeting. Councillor Bai.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I move the council adopt the minutes and resolutions of the ordinary council meeting 17th of July 2018.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Hall. Is that motion opposed? The motion is not opposed. The motion is carried. You right with that? Thank you. Item A5, business arising from previous meeting, which we don't have any there. Item A6, no late items. Item A7, no notice of motion. Item A8, receiving petitions or joint letters. Item A8.2, receipt of petition. Councillor Stevens.
Yes, thank you very much, Mayor. I'm happy to move that Council receive the attached petition in relation to planning permit application P203/2018.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Ripper. Is that motion opposed? Motion's not opposed. The motion is carried. Councillor Bye.
Yes, well, of course, this is just standard procedure for the Council, Mayor, that when we receive a petition to receive it, and I understand that the officers will have a response to be dealt with at the next council meeting on the 21st of August in relation to this matter.
Thank you for that explanation, Councillor Stevens. Item A9, invited addresses, presentations and acknowledgements. Acknowledgements, I believe you will have an item for us, Councillor Stevens.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Mayor. I actually had the pleasure to represent a council at the opera, the Australian Opera performance at Yarram on the 20th of July. The Gippsland Regional Arts Council, in the person of our very own Councillor McCubbin, organised the opera to come to Yarram, and the Gippsland Regional Arts Council was able to receive a quick response grant from Council to assist with the putting on of the opera. It was an excellent evening. Councillor, as well as Councillor McCubbin and myself, Councillor Hall and Councillor Ripper were also in attendance. We had 486 seats sold, which was a wonderful outcome. I'm not sure everyone that attended was the world's greatest opera buff, but people supported this event really well. It was an excellent event, and people were very happy with the outcomes, and I think we're very grateful for the assistance they got from Council to help put the show on at the Regent Theatre Yarram. And so it was part of the I think what the Australia Opera call their coal tour. Every year they go around in regional areas, and every second year they come to the southern climes, and so they'll be back again in 2 years' time. And it was a wonderful thing that Gippsland Regional Arts was able to use the theatre to put on the show. Very well received, and thanks to Councillor McCubbin for his work and for the other councillors for coming. And yes, everyone was very, very happy with the event, so it was a wonderful night. I think there were a few people that perhaps maybe was their first and last time at the Opera, Mayor, but they all know now about Madame Butterfly, and I wasn't allowed to sing. And on that note, I'll sit down. Thank you.
Probably a good idea then and now, is it? No, it's a fantastic venue, so and Puccini is a fantastic opera, so hopefully we'll be able to have another performance with when they do tour in a couple of years. So thank you very much. Item A10, we have no questions or notice. Moving on to B, reports. No reports from delegates. C, officers' report. Item C, 1.1, the June 2018 Council Performance Report. Councillor Hall.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. I move that Council receive and note the June 2018 Council Performance Report as attached.
Seconded by Councillor Rossetti. Is that motion opposed? The motion is not opposed. The motion is carried. Councillor Hall.
Yeah, thanks again, Mayor. Look, the June Council Performance Reports includes the interim financial reports, and it's important to note that these are the interim results pending finalisation of the accounting, the auditing process, and they'll come back to us via the Audit and Risk Committee. However, in the first instance, let's have a look at the June 2018 Council Plan highlights, including but not limited to. The gallery goes from strength to strength with some 5 new exhibitions opening in June. Aqua Energy's promotion, Beat the Price Rise and Beat the Winter Blues, again continued with very positive results. And the new Youth Council will begin its journey at a camp on the 13th of July. Success was achieved in regard to gaining funding for the Gordon Street main oval lighting project, and major design and construction works continue in the sports and recreation space. And both the West Sale and Warwick industrial land supply strategies have been adopted. The June Performance Report also sets out the status of a range of activities, and it's pleasing to note the level of achievement and completion to date. If we turn to the financials and note again the interim nature of the report, we note that the operating surplus shows a favourable variance of some $8.2 million. The key drivers of this result are predominantly revenue-based, with rates income exceeding budget by some $4 million, driven by the increased level of domestic and industrial development. And we've received some $6.9 million in grant income in this year, which is an allocation of the grant's income in advance. We're required to report this as income in the 2018 year, albeit that will be applied to the 2018-19 financial year. Whilst expenditure reports an unfavourable variance, this is predominantly driven by increased depreciation, which does not impact on cash availability. And it's also noted that capital grants are below budget, reflective of the funding to be received for multi-year capital projects. Council's cash position is strong, as shown in the cash holdings grant, and again reflects the receipt of the grants in advance and the multi-year CapEx programs to be delivered in 2018-19. It's pleasing to note that the rate debtors has shown an improved collection rate, reflective of both an improved efficiency, but also perhaps might reflect that the economy is more robust than we perhaps realise. The capital program reports that some $30.5 million of works was delivered, with works yet to be delivered reflecting, among other things, continuing community consultation and delays related to liaison with other authorities, and that's in the order of some $7 million. And again, the inability to, in fact, obtain contractors is perhaps reflective of the level of infrastructure work which is going on in Victoria at the moment. This year, though, we completed the Port of Sale Cultural Hub for some $7.7 million, roads to recovery for some $3.8 million, and a range of recreation, building and roadworks as well. In closing, can I reinforce that these are the interim results? The year-end accounts are being finalised. Vargo is yet to complete the audit, and the Audit and Risk Committee will review the final accounts before they come back to Council for adoption. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. Item C 2.1, Assembly of Councillors. Councillor Bai.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I move the Council note and receive the attached Assembly of Council records for the period 10th of July 2018 to the 31st of July 2018.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Ripper. Is that motion opposed? The motion is not opposed. The motion is carried. Right with that. Thank you. Moving on to item C.2, Instrument Appointment of Authority. Councillor Rossetti.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the Council in the exercise of the powers conferred by Section 224 of the Local Government Act 1989, the Act and other legislation referred to in the attached S11A Instrument of Appointment and Authorisation, the instrument, resolve that 1. Council officers John Websdale and Carrar Button be appointed and authorised as set out in the instrument as provided in Attachment 1, and 2. The instrument be signed and sealed by the Chief Executive Officer.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Bai. Is that motion opposed? The motion is not opposed. The motion is carried. Councillor Rossetti.
Thanks, Mayor. Just to say that these delegations operate throughout the organisation. Clearly, everything doesn't come to Council to make a decision on all the thousands and thousands of items that come to Council. There's simply been a change in legislation where the delegation previously was done through the CEO. Now it has to come to Council to actually nominate the people who are delegated.
Thank you for that explanation. Item C 2.3, Remuneration Committee. Councillor Hall.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to move that Council note and receive the minutes from the Remuneration Committee meeting held on 17th of July 2018 as attached, and 2. Council endorse the actions from the Remuneration Committee meeting held on the 17th of July 2018 as detailed in the attached minutes.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Hall. Is that motion opposed? The motion is not opposed. The motion is carried. Councillor Hall.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. This committee meets quarterly just to keep an eye on expenses that are part and parcel of running the council. We look at the mileage, council allowances. Well, I look at my notes, they're too far away. Communication costs as well as civic receptions. And this time the committee had a look at the council expenses and resolved that the remote area allowance, which only affects certain councillors, was giving a not true picture of the council expenses. So they've come out now and will be a line item on their own, and that will then reflect the council expenses equally among the 9 councillors.
You're getting a false positive there, Lee. Thank you for that clarification. Item C3, General Manager of Development, no items there, reports. Item C4, General Manager Built and Natural Environment. C4.1, Application for Unused Road Licences, Parish of Wulla, Wullock, Stradbroke. Councillor Stevens.
You did a wonderful job. Wulla, Wullock, yes. So I'm happy to move, Mayor, that pursuant to Section 400 of the Land Act 1958, Council give notice that government roads north of Crown Allotment 28 Section D, west of Crown Allotment 29 Section D, south and east of Crown Allotment 6 Section B, Parish of Wulla, Wullock, are not required for public traffic and are therefore unused roads.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Bai. Is that motion opposed? The motion is not opposed. The motion is carried. Councillor Stevens.
Yes, well, thank you, Mayor. This is basically a machinery requirement for us to have this unused road be able to be leased by DWALP, and it's in a fairly inaccessible part of Pine Plantation. I'm reliably informed that it's actually in the coastal ward, but I think the ratepayers there may be a little bit scarce on the ground, and the residents certainly, apart from a few wombats and kangaroos, And in any event, this is effectively a fairly remote area of the Shire, Mayor. There has been public notice given for the proposal to lease this unused road licence. There's been no response, and therefore, as you can see in the report, there's very little impact on the community. So I think that says it all. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Stevens. Moving on to item C5, item C, General Manager Community and Culture, C5.1, Maffra Rec Reserve. Councillor Ripper.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move that Council receive the minutes from the Maffra Recreation Reserve Committee of Management general meeting held on 7th of May and 4th of June 2018.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor McCubbin. Is that motion opposed? The motion's not opposed. The motion is carried. Councillor Ripper, you have... Item C5.2, Gordon Street Recreation Reserve. Councillor Hall.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I'm going to move the Council receive the minutes from the Gordon Street Recreation Reserve Committee of Management's general meeting held on the 23rd of April 2018.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Bye. Is that motion opposed? The motion's not opposed. The motion is carried. Councillor Hall.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Always an exciting meeting because of the communications between the various clubs who willingly participate on a volunteer basis and also do so much maintenance work around the place. Really, some days you think it's a gathering of all the retired young gentlemen in town as they're mowing the lawns or doing repairs and maintenance, and it gives a great feel to the meetings when they come, because they all generally discuss what is needed and it gets brought up at the meeting, and everybody prioritises what has to be done next. The minutes that we look at here today show that the club or the ground committee have had an application in to the Trove Valley Authority for funding for the upgrade of the lighting on the oval, for the new netball courts, and for the new cricket nets, which are in a dangerous state of disrepair. And I believe that we can just about say that they will be delivered, and that will here again add more strength to the Gordon Street Reserve and keep it one of the top grounds in Wellington Shire.
Thank you. Oops, what have we done? I think you need to go again, don't you? Item C5.3, the Gordon Street Rec Reserve Committee of Management membership.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Hall.
I'm going to move the Council note the resignation of the current Hayfield Cricket Club representative, declare the position vacant, and appoint the nominated Hayfield Cricket Club representative as detailed in the attached confidential report to the Gordon Street Recreation Reserve Committee of Management for the remainder of the 3-year period ended the 18th of December 2018, and 2, as per the confidential details as shown on the screen.
Thank you, and the successful candidate will be notified after this meeting. So, thank you. Oh, seconder. Oh, I beg your pardon. I've moved on already. Councillor Stevens. Is that motion opposed? The motion is not opposed. The motion is carried. Did you want to speak to... you've already spoken, haven't you? Is that what I've got lost?
I've never spoken to
No, you're right. Did you want to speak further? No. Yeah, it covered it. Yes, that's right. That's why I thought you were speaking to it, but it was the notes. Beg your pardon. Item C5.4, the Briagolong Quarry Reserve Committee of Management membership. Councillor Ripper.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move that Council note the resignation of the current community representative, declare the position vacant and appoint the nominated community representatives, as detailed in the attached confidential report to the Briagolong Quarry Reserve Committee of Management for the remainder of a 3-year period ending 18th of December 2018. Para 2 as read.
Thank you. Now I call for a second. Councillor McCubbin, is that motion opposed? The motion's not opposed. The motion is carried. Thank you. And again,
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to thank the outgoing members of the Quarry Reserve for all the work and dedication that they've put into the quarry to make that a nice area for people to camp. And I welcome the new committee, who will be announced later, who are coming on board, and look forward to working with them. Thank you.
thank you. And as I say, likewise, the membership will be notified at the end of this meeting. Thank you. No urgent business. Item E, further gallery and chat room comments. I believe we have somebody who wishes to address. This now is your moment. If you can please note that, yeah, you can do that. Gallery comments are on an opportunity for members of the public to raise any particular matters they wish. This allows those in the gallery to speak directly to the council, but it's not a forum designed for open discussion or to and fro, as we discussed earlier. We will listen, respect, and you have 3 minutes for that, and we'll get your name and address, or Chris will get that so you can get a reply to your question. Okay. If you want to come forward and please state your name at the rostrum there with the... And just to realise that this will be beaming out live to all of our viewers.
That's handy. Hey, g'day, I'm Chris Jones. Thank you. I thought I'd come here and talk to all the councillors rather than write a letter or something like that, you know. I was reading in the paper about the bin removals at the Golden Beach, predominantly, but I see they're going to do lock sport and that sea spray and that as well that you're talking about. I've got a son that lives down at Golden Beach. I spend a bit of time down there, you know. It's a nice place and that sort of thing. But the rubbish, unfortunately, people are not how we'd like them all to be, and they do leave. Mess around and they're taking the bins away. I can't see that as being productive. And the theory behind what the council have said, that if we remove the bins, we remove the rubbish, well, I don't sort of see that working. I think Councillor Byers already had some discussions with my son about it, but it just doesn't seem to make any sense. You know, if you're going to have the philosophy we remove the bins, we remove the rubbish, we might as well do that everywhere. You know, might as well get rid of them out of here, get rid of the offices. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And you know, maybe you need to consider put a little transfer station down there. You know, I see Sea Spray's got one. I had a bit of scan at the 2016 census, and Sea Spray's got a population of 322 people with a transfer station thing. Golden Beach and Locksport have got a population of 453 people, and there's no provision there for people to get rid of rubbish. They've got to go to Sea Spray, Locksport or Kilmany, you know. And if people live down there on the weekends, you know, holiday houses, they've got to take their rubbish home with them. And that's, the mayor said to me before that, you know, she'd been in Queensland, that's the way they do it there. Well, I've been up there too, and I've seen places there are bins. You know, you go to Malakuta and there's bins as you come up off the beach to put your old fishing line in and put your rubbish in. And, you know, I just think it's a really, really backward move, because you've got a really nice place. We rely on tourism there. It just, do you see the rubbish down there at Christmas time, and it's just, people are disgusting, you know, but that's unfortunately what we have to deal with. We're $8 million in surplus and we can't afford a few bins, you know. Like, that's my thoughts to it. Yeah, well, what? I'm flabbergasted that the philosophy is remove the bins, remove the rubbish. You know, if that's the case, well, I know is there any around around those bins around the lake, isn't there? So you might as well get rid of them as well. I think we've got a really nice environment. It's a pristine environment, you know. To see the rubbish being blown across the beach and that sort of thing is terrible. So I think we should maybe upgrade our bin process rather than remove it. But that's my thoughts, and that's why I thought I'd come and see you, and rather than write a letter, because yeah. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And I'll say after the meeting, we'll get your details and we'll get a detailed response on that one.
Just if I can very quickly, Mayor, because we've been dealing with the Golden Beach bins for some time, I might get, if Chris is happy to wait 10 minutes after, get Chris Hasty, our General Manager, who's in charge of that, to have a chat to you as well, Chris.
Thank you. That's good. Terrific. Any further chat? No further chat from the... Oh, yes, we do. We do have further gallery chat.
Sorry,
Thank you.
brief. I'm not here to promote today, so it's okay.
So, again, if you just state your name,
please.
Of course,
Ron Darcy,
thanks, Ron.
local worker. I just wanted to actually commend the council today. First thing, thank you, Madam Mayor, for attending our opening at Maxima. That was really kind of you to attend and speak on behalf of the council. But what I actually wanted to talk about was I've seen a lot of and heard a lot around town about the new version of the low cost, no cost activity guide coming out shortly. And I just wanted to commend that. As a blended family with 6 children, that's our Bible. Speaking to the Briagolong Quarry Reserve, that's one of our favourites in summer. So I really wanted to commend that. I also wanted to commend the work, and I've now just lost his name. I believe it's Brenton with Gift Sport, and he's been running the come and try sessions for wheelchair basketball. I took the kids down on Sunday afternoon. We had an absolute ball. And we found that not only was it a great activity to get out and do something, it was offered free, but it created an excellent conversation around accessibility and what that experience was like. So I really commend the council for the work they do around accessibility in Wellington Shire. Thank you.
We'll make sure that we'll hand over that your compliment to the officers involved on both events. Thank you. So no chats. We're all good. So we don't need to go into closed session. So I declare the meeting closed at 3:27. Thank you for attending and thank you, councillors.